Hey, little known secret, or maybe it's a well known secret, I don't know, but most musicians, after a gig, after a concert, they're thinking about the mistakes they made. All right, so I'm wearing a really cool t-shirt. This is Michael Schenker of UFO. It's got Michael Schenker's face on it with the flying V, which is great, but it also references UFO, which is the best band he's ever been in. That includes MSG, of course, which is a solo thing. Anyway, so one thing that's interesting is after a really good show by a performer, sometimes a musician will need to get alone and recuperate and rest because they've exerted a lot of energy and they're spent. And I want to tie this into a story about Jesus. So in Matthew chapter 14, Jesus has just finished ministering. So I'm kind of likening that to performing a good gig. And he's spent. And he puts his disciples on a boat and sends them away. And he goes up to kind of like a mountaintop or a peak to do some praying. He's going to re-energize. He's going to fill himself back up because he's spent. He's ministered, he's given of himself, and I don't mean to reduce it to like a musician, but like a musician, they're giving off energy, they're performing, they're putting out, and sometimes there's like a very real sense of being spent. Your energy that you gave away is gone now, and you're feeling the vacuum. So Jesus is going to pray, and that was a constant model, or constant thing he did that modeled for us what to do after times of ministry and giving of yourself, sharing the gospel. Now the disciples, they get in this boat and they're on like a lake, and the storm comes up, and I wonder if they felt like, man, Jesus is trying to kill us. He's talked a little bit about suffering and stuff, and so this is like our destiny is to die, so we're just going to die on this boat. And they were in fear for their lives. And Jesus came, walking on their problem, walking on the water. And they thought it was a ghost. At first, they didn't recognize it. And when Peter recognized that it was Jesus, he says, bid me to come to the water. Just invite me to come, because I want to walk on that stuff too. And Jesus is like, go for it, dude. And Peter steps out and is walking on the water for a while. And I really like the Chosen, and I think it was season 4, they portrayed this incident, and they showed those waves being high, like intimidating high, like a surfer getting nervous high. If you're not in the right place with your board to ride through the crest of that wave, you might get crushed and pushed under the water and tumble around on the ground and get beat up a little bit. Sometimes it's easy to knock Peter for the things he said and the decisions he made, but in this particular case, I'm not going to give him any grief, because those waves might have been pretty intimidating. And looking at the circumstances, looking at the waves, you've probably heard this message a million times, that's where doubts can creep in and your faith starts to seep away. And he started sinking. And then again, that Chosen episode, sorry about spoiler information if you haven't seen it yet. Really good episode. I love this series. I think what they're doing is amazing. And I don't want to criticize the show. Anything that I see that I think is wrong or I would do better, it's like, unless I'm going to do better, I'm going to keep my mouth shut, because they're producing a product that's good. What am I doing that gives me the right to criticize what they're doing? Am I doing something better? Am I doing something on a par that's reaching people like that? No, I'm not. So I'll leave my criticism to myself. And anyway, so Peter starts sinking and Jesus reaches in to get him. And in that particular enactment of it, he's like going down, he's sinking. And I guess sometimes when the surf, it's weird to imagine this in a lake, but during the middle of a storm, just the power of water can send you going. It's not like a calm pool-like situation where you're going to float to the top pretty easy. But Jesus got rejuvenated, came back to meet the disciples, and he rescued them from a hellacious situation. And so there's my little video for today. And now you must suffer and watch my commercial for my book, Rock Stars on God. I'm trying to sell copies of this book. It's a collection of 24 interviews with mostly secular rock stars and artists. And I talk to them about music and art, but also about Jesus Christ, his identity, and his claims to be the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but by me. That's a very exclusive claim. And you'll get to read about how each one of these artists respond to that question. So check it out. Also, jump into the conversation, ask questions, make criticisms, make comments, leave a joke. Just get involved, man.
Rock stars on God, caught in